talk a little bit about how you going to try to handle this beast tonight in Zach, because it seems like every time he plays the Clippers, he has a chip on his shoulder.
Well, I think he has a chip on his shoulder. Just period. That's that's how he plays, and he's very difficult. I watched last night, and he just dominated the game down the stretch. The Laker game the other night, and in the fourth quarter, he takes it over. That's why he's Zach Randolph. He's a terrific player, a very physical player. There's players that score on you, and then there's players that beat you up while they're scoring on you, and that's what Zach does. And so we have to try to control that as best as we can. I think we have to give him multiple coverages. He's seen every coverage, so I don't think you can give him one coverage. Obviously it's a regular season game, so it's very difficult to put in too many coverages for one game in a regular season. And that's why he's so tough.
So will your player of the week and Blake be one of the people that will give him multiple coverages?
Yeah, I think everyone will, but Blake and DeAndre and whatever other big we need. The thing that they have two of them. It's not like it's just Zach. Gasol is great on his own right. So they have two very powerful bigs, big bodies, enjoy physical play. And, we want to stand in there, but we also want to spread the floor and use what we have at our big positions at 5 and 4. We have speed and athleticism. So we have to try to play the game as much as we can without allowing them to put their hands on us.
Were you encouraged by the way Byron kind of responded and played in the second half?
Who's that?
Byron, the way he played.
Yeah. Listen, it's just a process for him, growth. I think he's starting to understand what's a good shot and what's not. For the most part. I'm more concerned with him just if he can hang in there defensively and do some things for us, and he's starting to do that. Excuse me. The combination of him and Ryan, it's you're just playing one of the two, or they're playing off of each other, and then that's been okay for us.
It seemed like Byron went inside and that maybe sparked some stuff for him. Should he be down?
Yeah, he should be. I mean, he hasn't. When you watch our guys play in practice, at least in the big man drills, he's got a terrific post game. Obviously it's easier to shoot a jump shot, but his post game he can lean on far more than he does.
Doc, in the past, this matchup has gotten the best of DeAndre sometimes. Was it how he was being used or how he was approaching?
No, I don't know if it did or didn't. That's not for me to say. Or I've watched all the games, obviously. I thought last year we decided to go small, so only one big is going to play when you do that. At least in the last game for sure. It's a tough matchup. And we want to make it a tough matchup for them too, though. And DeAndre can have an imprint in this game with his defense. There's no doubt.
Your thoughts on how Blake's game has evolved his season or changed at all? I mean, having a great year so far, but has his game changed? Has his game evolved?
Yeah, I hope. What is he, 24? I don't know anyone's age, which is probably good for some of you guys. But yeah, I mean, he's going to keep getting better. I have to remind, Blake's really young. I think we all forget that. I know I do at times. I'm on him pretty hard. I ask a lot out of him, and at the end of the day, he's still. It doesn't matter, at least in my opinion, and some would differ. I don't think it matters the amount of years you are in the league as much as people think. I still think there's a maturity, and it happens at certain ages, and I just think he's going to keep getting better and better.
You talked about paper champions in terms of when do you think Blake kind of suffers from that when he was so great his first year and he gets all the commercials and endorsements? There's a sort of pressure on him that he should be a top 5 player right now.
I guess. I mean, I don't know if there is pressure on him. Maybe from the outside. I mean, I don't pay much attention to that stuff. So, there should be pressure on you. If you want to be great, I mean, you have to expect there's going to be pressure on you. And Chris has pressure on him, and so does Blake. And I always thought about it in this way. It should be a privilege. I never had pressure on me as a player. I wasn't good enough. Really, I didn't have that type of pressure. Because Dominique had it all, and I think if you're in that position, you should look at it as an honor that people think you can be that, and that's a good thing. And I always tell my guys to embrace it, embrace the chase, embrace the race, and embrace everything.
Coach, how do you feel about the way you're playing during this current streak? And where would you still like to see improvement?
Oh, we have, I'm fine that we're winning games, and that's really important, but, you know, we have to be much better than what we are playing. There's no doubt. We've played spurts where we look terrific. We've been a spurt team so far, for the most part. But I think we have a lot better basketball in us, on the defensive end and the offensive end, so, that's the good news.
Coach, you're pushing the pace very successfully offensively and committed to playing better defense. Does playing that fast add a degree of difficulty to improving your defense?
Well, it does, because you probably have to play defense more. You know, the old adage is if you want to see a great defensive team, especially in college, watch how often they shoot the ball at the 35-second shot clock. You know, then obviously your scores are going to be lower, and it looks like you're a great defensive team. And in essence, you may not be. You just slow the game down. There's not a lot of shots in the game. We're taking it, and we're trying to do this in a different way. We're taking quick shots. We're being aggressive, and we're still trying to be a good defensive team, knowing that the other team's going to have far more attempts at the basket, which puts more pressure on our defense. I think we can do it, Mark. You know, we are playing at a heck of a pace, but I think we can do it.
You guys have done Sunday's practice, and there have been opportunities to practice that you've canceled so far this season. What's been the thinking behind that?
Well, it's a long year, you know, and I'd rather have their legs than their head. You know, if I go into practice and I think sometimes I feel good that we practice, but now they feel bad, and usually we're going to lose that game. I'd rather have their legs at the end of the day. I'm a big believer in legs and rest. We'll get our proper teaching points. I'll fall behind in that if I think it's going to hurt our legs. I think you win with legs.
Doc, you mentioned the spurts.
Nuances to Chris and his game that you picked up that maybe you didn't see before coaching against him?
Yeah, I said it earlier. I think he's a far better shooter than I thought. You know, he can really shoot the ball. He's a selective shooter. He passes up a ton of shots, which drives me crazy. But he's so good with the ball that he gets away with it. But, you know, I watch him shooting in practice. We watch him in games. He makes big shots, and he can shoot the ball. And with the ability to handle the ball the way he can, it allows you to run a lot of things off of him because of his shot and the way you have to play it. It really helps us.
What about his leadership and the way he runs the team?
He's great. I mean, you kind of assume that. He's natural at it. You know, it's, you know, he's not a made leader. That's just who he is.
Doc, you mentioned the spurts on and off. Ever concerned at all about the deep teams have to be sometimes worried that they push the on button when they think they can because they know they're good?
Yeah, I don't think that's us, though. I don't think it's because we're pushing the on and off button. I don't think we have the on button yet. You know, we're learning. We're still getting better. I'm still getting used to them. We're getting used to different stuff. So I just think we lose ourselves sometimes in the game. But I don't think, you know, other than the Brooklyn game the other night, I don't think we have that on and off button yet. It is a good button to have, though. I can tell you that. When you can push it, you know, that's really nice.
Doc, you talked about Zach Randolph's feistiness and just his will to win. What have you learned so far about Blake Griffin and his mentality when he gets in games and gets tangled up with the bigs?
Well, that he doesn't back down. He just plays. Blake plays at a great pace. You know, Blake is not. He is powerful and strong, but his speed makes him more powerful. You know, the fact that he can do it at a higher speed, that to me gives him power, and that's what we've worked with him since I've been here on. The back down is great, but there's bigger guys than you. But when you face and go with speed, no one's more powerful than you. With his body and the speed, that combination, I don't know what that means, you know, as far as somebody can explain that to me, what speed and weight does, but I know it gives him more power.
Are you where you want to be at this point? Or are you surprised?
I have no idea. I really don't. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I don't even look at that. I just look that we can be better. And so my job is to keep that focus. We're 9-1 or 3-5 or whatever. It wouldn't matter to me. you know, obviously I'd be more concerned if it was 3, you know, whatever, but we just can play better. And that's my job as a coach, is not to coach our guys where we are today, but to coach them where I think we should be someday. And so I'm pretty persistent in that. Thanks, everyone.